In the mystical land of Eldoria, where the sky shimmered with golden constellations and rivers whispered ancient songs, there lived a girl named Alice. She was known across her village for a voice so beautiful that even the stars seemed to pause and listen. Her melodies could soothe crying children, calm the fiercest storms, and even bring the wilting flowers back to life. Her best friend, Anne, always said that Alice's voice wasn't just a gift, it was magic. But deep in her heart, Alice felt something was missing. She longed for something beyond her own song. When she sang, the wind danced around her as if trying to speak, but she could not understand it. The rustling leaves seemed to whisper secrets, but she could not decipher them. She wanted more than just her own melody, she wanted to hear the world's song. One fateful evening, Alice wandered to the Cliff of Echoes, a lonely place where voices carried for miles. She stood on the edge, letting the wind swirl around her. It spoke, not in words, but in emotions, in a soft pull at her soul. A whispering presence surrounded her, as if the wind itself had been waiting for her. "Trade your voice to me," it murmured, "and I will give you the gift of understanding. You will hear the songs of the stars, the whispers of the earth, the language of all things forgotten." Alice hesitated. What would she be without her voice? But the promise was too tempting, too wondrous. She closed her eyes and sang one final song, pouring her soul into each note. The melody rose, wrapping around her like a golden ribbon, and then, silence. The wind took her voice, carrying it away like a lost whisper in the night. The next morning, Anne found Alice sitting by the river, watching the water move as if listening to its story. When Anne called out to her, Alice turned, smiling, but no sound came from her lips. At first, Anne thought it was a trick, but the sorrow in Alice's eyes told the truth. She was silent. Anne's heart ached. Alice had given up the most precious thing she had. "We'll fix this," Anne declared. "We'll find whoever took your voice and get it back." So, the two friends set off on a journey to find the spirit of the wind, the only force powerful enough to return Alice's voice. Their path led them through enchanted forests, where trees whispered riddles and vines moved like living creatures. They traveled across silver rivers, guided by glowing fish who spoke in a language only Alice could now understand. They climbed misty mountains, where echoes carried words from distant lands. Along the way, Alice discovered something extraordinary. Though she could not speak, she could now hear the world like never before. She understood the laughter of the brook, the sadness in the wind, and the wisdom of the towering oaks. She had traded one voice for 1,000 others. But Anne saw the sadness in her friend's eyes. She missed Alice's songs. The world felt quieter without them. "We have to keep going," Anne reminded her. "Your voice is waiting for you." After weeks of traveling, they finally reached the celestial summit, where the spirit of the wind resided. The sky above them shimmered with swirling clouds, and the air crackled with magic. A great, unseen presence surrounded them, the wind itself, alive and watching. The spirit spoke, its voice like 100 breezes whispering at once, "You have heard the world's song. Do you still wish to take back your own? Alice hesitated. She touched her throat, remembering the melodies she had once sung. But she also closed her eyes and listened to the hum of the mountains, the distant laughter of rivers, the quiet song of the stars. She understood now. She had not lost her voice, she had become part of something greater. And, watching her friend's expression, understood too. Alice turned to the spirit and shook her head. She would not take her voice back. She would remain a silent listener, a keeper of the world's music. The wind swirled around her one last time, a final farewell. Then, gently, it sang, singing the song Alice had once given it. Her melody, carried forever in the wind. Hand in hand, Alice and descended the mountain, the wind forever whispering Alice's song. Alice never spoke again, but she never needed to. She could hear things no one else could, understanding the stories of the world in ways beyond words. And then, she never stopped telling the tale of her best friend, the girl who had once sung so beautifully and whose song would forever live in the wind.